Hello, how's it going? What's up? Welcome in. My name is the other guy TJB, and today we are doing a Persona 5 Royal Confidant ranking tier list. Before we get into it, there are going to be some minor spoilers for some of the characters and confidants in the game. If you aren't been through it, assuming if you've clicked on the video though, you probably are aware or you don't care. So with that, let's get right into it. Right off the bat, we have Ryuji Sakamoto. I'm gonna put him in the A tier list. His ability to one-shot lower level shadows is huge, will save you so much time. It is probably one of the best abilities you can get from leveling up a confidant in the entire game. It is definitely a necessity. That alone sets him in the A tier. Outside of that, he does not give you anything special that none of your other fellow Phantom Thieves give you. Starting off with A for Ryuji. Takami, I'm gonna put her into a C tier. You see, there's B or C. I say she's C. Her items are expensive to begin with, and by the time you do get her confidant up, you don't really need to buy her healing items. Maybe later on in the game, but by that point you should already have a ton of money where it's not really needed. Her discounts are nice, but not really anything special. C for Takami. Oya, D. Oya is, in my opinion, the worst confidant in the game. Her ability to help you lower your security level in palaces isn't needed, like, at all. It's entirely useless. Yeah, you don't need it. I mean, you should level her up because you should max all your confidants, but outside of that, there's no need. Yusuke is a tough one. So Yusuke will help you duplicate skill cards. He's either A or B, it really depends. I'm gonna put him in B because I don't think his ability to help you with skill cards is that really needed unless you're trying to do like super end game content. You are trying to like min-max, get like all the best skill cards, have multiple of them, and that's usually requiring at least 2 or 3 playthroughs, at least 2. So with that, I'm just gonna put him at B. He's not a necessity. Having the ability for skill cards is actually huge. It can help with another confidant. I do not see them on here, actually. They're left off here. Damn, that sucks. I can't add them on here. I'll still go over them though. With that though, Yusuke will add him as a B. Haru, I'm gonna also put her as a B. Her ability to help give you essentially free items over time is really nice. It's huge, especially when I think later on the items you unlock are actually extremely good. It essentially gives you your double attack and your double magic ability moves. Can save you SP with just using the items themselves. I believe it's an onion and a tomato are the items that give you that, if I recall correctly. The only issue with Haru is you don't really get her until really late in the game, and you can't really utilize her that much. Outside of that though, she's still a good confidant. I mean, it's free items just from leveling her up and then talking to her and getting them when the harvest is done. Chihaya, she is definitely S tier. She does everything, whether it's with alarms, trying to make some badass personas in the Velvet Room, she can help you with that. Whether it's trying to level up your other confidants, she helps you with that. She's probably one of the best confidants in the game, even though getting her at first kind of sucks. Her perks that she gives are super OP. Iway, I'm gonna put it as C. His abilities are nice in that you essentially will get better upgrades and free upgrades for your guns, but by the time you get there so late in the game, and it's kind of the same thing with Takami, this money's not really an issue at that point, considering in order to start him you need a level 4 rank 4 in your guts for your social stats. He's barely C. He's almost pushing D, so we'll leave him at C because Iway is a cool character. Give him that. And he actually does give you, these two do actually give you stat boost. Guts, he does give you a stat though for hanging out with him. Futaba, S rank. She S or A? I'm gonna say she's A. She's almost S, but I'm gonna say she's A. So her abilities can really help you out in a pinch, but the things she does for you aren't the game changer like Chihaya and another confidant have. Her perks can really help you when you're in a really tough spot where you're up against tougher enemies, but if you're kind of going in with a good team and you kind of know how to navigate the fights, it's not really needed. The only time I feel like her abilities, which will save you or could switch out your party members, I ever got was when I was fighting the super bosses, which was essentially, like I said, the first spoilers is the twins or Lavenza. Outside of that, it's never gonna proc, because you shouldn't ever be in that situation. So, and her ability in Mementos is really nice as well. I don't think she's enough for an S. I think Soju is going to be an A. His items are actually really good, especially early on, can help save you a ton, especially with the SP restorative items are great. I'm gonna say he's A. There's another confidant which makes him also even better, but I'll go over that here in a minute. Anne's gonna be a C. She has crocodile tears and sexy technique. Sexy technique is kind of goes in the same boat with Futaba, where her ability can help you in a pinch. Early on, it's nice. It can help save you some damage or help save somebody's life every now and again. Doesn't happen all too often, but still, it is not really needed. Mishima. Mishima is going to be an A. Mishima is definitely more of a necessity earlier on, because all of his perks from leveling up his confidant will help you give a experience boost to you and your backup characters. So the earlier you do that, it's even better. As the longer the game goes on, you're getting that extra experience that you can get from him. Makoto, I'll put her B. Her techniques are pretty solid. She's kind of mid-tier between B and C. I'm gonna say she's B, just because her technique to see weaknesses and things like that can be pretty useful and can help with certain negotiations, which I think all of your characters can essentially do that though. Yeah, so I'm just gonna leave her at B. Hifumi will give you knowledge, which is nice, and she can help you out with some situations. Her abilities are very situational. One of them is, I'm trying to think of what they are at the top of my head. So yeah, she's going to be in B. She can help you get some extra money when defeating enemies in one single turn, which is actually pretty frequent to do, especially if you're diligent and you're not trying to like speedrun the game. As long as you're going through and being a completionist, that should happen quite a bit. You'll be over leveled to crush through enemies. Yeah, so her ability, she can help with extra money, follow-up attacks from your teammates, and then later on you can actually switch out team members in the middle of a battle, which can be beneficial. I used it when I actually fought Yaldabaoth. That actually came in pretty handy there. Yoshida, I'm gonna put in A also. He is extremely useful, can help you with negotiating with all sorts of different types of shadows. Yeah, so Yoshida is definitely A tier. Can help with you with getting more money, better items, can help you negotiate and capture personas that are higher level than you, and also he can help you just completely skip negotiations with a shadow. Just straight up done, skip all the BS. So he's definitely A tier. He is actually my first playthrough actually did not max him. He's miniature spoiler, he's confidant is up a little bit sooner before other people, so you will have to make sure you maximize him before it gets too late in the game. Otherwise, at a certain point, you will not be able to do so. Kawakami, or as she is also known as Kawamami, S tier. So, not that order of these makes a difference at all, but Kawakami is probably the best confidant in the game. Her ability to save you time doing other things, which is kind of who I was referencing with Sojuro. You can have other people, you can essentially have her make coffee for you while you go do other things. Once you're in the metaverse, or after spending time in the metaverse, she can give you massage, so you can then actually have that evening to do whatever you want. She also buys you time in class, whether you need to do reading, make tools, other things like that. She is definitely one of the best confidants. She is a little expensive because I think it's $5,000 every time you see her, but nevertheless 100% worth it. Or not dollars, I'm sorry, 5,000 yen. But yeah, definitely probably the best confidant, I'd say. So getting Shinya as a confidant is actually kind of a pain because you have to go into Mementos, and hopefully you have that by the time you're doing all the other ones. Otherwise you're kind of waiting on him. And usually if you're smart, you kind of wait till you have a bunch of requests, do Mementos all at once. One of the best things about Shinya that everybody forgets is he gives you a ton of kindness from hanging out with him. I know everyone says it's like the hardest thing to rank up. His abilities are pretty nice. The one shot can really help with tougher enemies. I actually never really utilized it, which was stupid on my end. But certain enemies, I mean, it's a free all-out attack on them essentially if they, for mini bosses that don't have a weakness, or you know, for just the tougher enemies in palaces that require a lot or can one-shot some of your teammates. So I will put him at a B. Maruki is also an S tier. His boost to your SP as well as free items from hanging out with him is huge. Not to mention the flow ability he gives you, which essentially increases both your next physical or magical ability, at least doubles it or more. And then later on when you get flow boost, it actually procs quite a bit. He's definitely one of the best confidants, can give you huge boosts for SP. Is for one is incredibly important, especially if you're trying to farm and do things like that in the metaverse. And two, just his perks and everything he gives you is just 100% worth. So I will put him in S. We'll do Akechi first. His abilities are really similar to Makoto in a sense. I'm gonna put him in B also. I think Akechi's abilities are just meh. They're a lot like Makoto's. They're not really needed. They're helpful, but it's not make or break. And then last but not least, we have Yoshizawa. I'm gonna put her in B as well. Yeah, I don't think her Chinese hook is really good, but outside of that, she doesn't really offer anything else. All right, you know what? Actually, I had to look at everything she gives, and I think I'm actually gonna put her in A. She is kind of in between A and B though. She's kind of like a mid between those two. So you do get a max HP increase from hanging out with her, and she can prevent you from being surrounded, which honestly shouldn't happen too much. That will save you eventually, once or twice during your playthrough. And I don't know how it's pronounced, but it's like the Chinese hook, is actually one of my favorite abilities. Yeah, essentially makes it like a great chance to get technicals on enemies just from engaging with it. And that makes it super easy to do follow-up baton passes and things like that, which helps you kind of roll through your enemies. Super nice ability, plus the free HP is nice. And with that is essentially the tier list. The one confidant that was left off the list that can also be ranked up but is not used, you don't use time on, is the twins. I would put them in A tier. The perks they give for the Velvet Room are incredibly good. I highly recommend you level them up. The perks that they give will greatly help you out. The perks they give will greatly help you out in the Velvet Room. Making better personas can help save you money too, especially considering some of the perks later on can get pretty expensive when making personas, especially ones that surpass your level. With that is going to be our tier list. I think this is pretty much, I don't know if it's standard, but it's 100% fair. Honestly, the ones you need to focus on are S, A, and B. Of course, with that said, I won't tell people not to level up certain confidants. You can neglect Oya, that's only one. Not really, just kidding. You should definitely level up whatever confidants you want. If it's a character you like or you think their story is interesting, level them up. I mean, it's part of what makes Persona 5 Royal great. Definitely do that. Outside of that though, I would definitely focus on your S's and your A's. B's too. I think with pretty fair assessment. Looking at it, I'm just making sure I don't see anything I'm like, actually I would change this. Honestly, I would move Anne up just because I love Anne. Thank you for checking this one out. Leave any comments down below what you think, any agreements, disagreements with the tier list. I mean, it's like I said, I'd be surprised if anybody disagreed with this. This is pretty fair. I mean, these three I think are pretty undisputed. I would not move them down. These are definitely the most important right here. So yeah, I appreciate you checking out the video. Please subscribe to the channel, like the video, it helps me out so much. And with that, I will catch you guys in the next one. Deuces.